But what was your initial reaction when you realized what had been mailed to your office?
Well, I find it really inconsiderate to have someone mail drugs, illicit drugs that are at this time still unlawful, and traffic them to us and put members of the Legislative Assembly in possession of a controlled substance. It's very inconsiderate. I've been very open about my recovery. I'm a person who lives in sobriety. But maybe there's other members of the Legislative Assembly as well who are also, former substance users for whom receiving a package or so-called gift like this is actually quite an inconsiderate act.
Well, how did this all unfold from your perspective? I mean, did you open the package yourself, or when did it come to your attention?
So I actually was told by my good friend and colleague, Corinne Kirkpatrick, who is the MLA for West Vancouver Capilano. She actually texted me and said, "Did Dana Larsen send you drugs?" Which confused me at first. He's actually offered me to come down to his cafe and to sample his wares, through social media before, and through the media, inviting me to come down and tour, which I declined those offers. And so I thought she was kidding until, then I was also informed that she had received a package, and that she was just one of 87 members of the Legislative Assembly to receive the package. So I contacted my office and there was one waiting for me. So I went down and picked it up, and I didn't actually open it until I got home. I already knew what was inside. I had already reported it to both VPD and the RCMP. And this is the thing, is that, I've received a lot of emails from people who are concerned that I don't understand that there could be medicinal purposes for psilocybin mushrooms. I do know that. In fact, I've actually met, Gloria, with researchers. In 2023, I actually had a meeting with several researchers that are talking about some of the potentials of psilocybin. And so that's not what my outrage is about. The fact of the matter is that he's not licensed to distribute psilocybin. This is still a controlled substance, and there's rules and regulations. These individuals that I met with who are doing legitimate and ethical research to determine whether or not there's a role for psilocybin in things like end-of-life care or PTSD treatment or other, depression, other kinds of mental health issues. They applied for licenses through Health Canada. They are, under strict supervision to ensure that there is a reporting back to make sure that there's no adverse effects on people that they're giving these medications to. And so, it frustrates me and angers me, actually, that then we have someone, on the other hand, like Dana Larsen, who does not have a license, who doesn't play by the rules, who isn't doing the required reporting, and potentially is putting the public at risk. And then he considers himself a hero because he's now trafficked drugs to elected officials across the province. I'm not, blind to the fact that there's potentials for some of these substances to be used as medications. But we have rules and regulations supposedly in place to protect the public. And I find it, very, very disrespectful for him to ignore those rules and regulations.
Well, and what did you do with the package? What kind of conversations did you have with other MLAs, or did you think anyone kept any of the packages, the drugs?
Are you asking me if I dropped the shrooms?
Yeah. Did you drop the shrooms?
I didn't drop the shrooms. Like I said, I'm a person in sobriety. I've been sober for 3.5 years. I had myself a substance use issue. I was diagnosed with PTSD from my work in the police. And, so I'm a person who lives sober. I would not do drugs.
No, I just said, what did you do? And what did other MLAs do as far as you know?
What I did, we have all actually talked together. What we have done is that we have given them over to the police of jurisdiction. We've asked that they not no case it. It's called no casing, when you just take drugs and either squash it with your foot or throw it in the trash. Because, sure, 1 gram on its own is one matter, but 87 grams put together might be another matter altogether. And so we've asked that they be looked at in the totality of the circumstances and not on an individual basis. And, I know for a fact in my case, when the RCMP came, we had a discussion about, the way forward in terms of an investigation. And so those drugs are being held right now as evidence.
So what consequences do you think Dana Larsen should face for mailing these illicit drugs to MLA's offices? You say the actual packages are being held for evidence. So what do you think?
Well, that's for, investigation by the police to determine whether or not he would be charged or potentially, a report to Crown Counsel forwarded for drug trafficking.